My name's Steve Elsworth. I'm one of the authors of Look.
And my name's Jim Rose, and I'm the other author of Look.
We've been teaching a long time. I've been teaching for more than 30 years.
Really? I've been teaching for about 25 years.
And we've been working together for a really long time. We started by asking ourselves a basic question. What's the most important thing in the classroom?
And the answer we got was the teachers. If you haven't got a good teacher in a classroom, you cannot have a successful class. And so we had to work out what we could do when we were writing this book to make it as helpful, as simple and as constructive as possible for the teachers to use. And how did we get to that?
Well, mainly we headed for simplicity. We decided that there was no point in being too complicated. What we just wanted to produce was a really good, solid book. It's got nice dialogues, interesting characters, and every storyline has a mystery in it.
Mystery? Well, the characters are ordinary kids of the same age as the students.
Yeah, they hang out, they go to the shops, they play football.
They play practical jokes on each other. They have a good time, they have a laugh. But in each story, one of the kids discovers that something is happening. And it's the story of how the kids work together to solve the mystery. They're quite serious mysteries sometimes, but they always have a good denouement at the end.
And we think that kids enjoy mysteries. They like solving puzzles, they like working together to find out what's going on in the book. And we think that we've provided a good element of interest running throughout the books.
It also provides an opportunity for the characters to decide how they behave, how much responsibility they've got, how much to tell their parents about what's happening, and where they have to draw the line about how they behave. So there are other messages that come through a storyline.
Well, the elephant in the room in any classroom is always grammar. Teachers have to teach grammar, students have to learn grammar. It's essential for learning English, but also really difficult.
We have thought about this a lot, because if you can't get the grammar to be simple and clear, understandable and memorable for the students, then it's extremely difficult for the class to proceed and to be successful for all the people in it. And we have come up with an idea of taking the abstraction of grammar and making it more concrete and visually apparent to the students.
I wonder if you have an example that you could show us.
Now, it just so happens that I do, actually. Here's an example. Red is a verb, blue is the subject, yellow is the complement. So here we have, for example, the sentence, he is a student. If you want to make that into a question, what do you do? It's as simple as this. Put the verb before the subject. Is he a student? Seeing it happen often is a great trigger for students because they can remember the actual movement. Let's have a look at that if we actually look at it with the words. And this is something that teachers can actually do in the class. So we have, he is a student, and you ask your students, how do we turn that into a question? And they have to remember that the verb moves. It moves there. Is he a student? One of the problems for students learning grammar is that it seems as if there is an endless set of rules, and every time they come across a new structure, there's a new rule. One of the things about making graphic grammar straightforward and visual is they can see that the same pattern works on all sentences. Here we have subject, verb, complement. To make that she can run into a question, we have to do exactly the same thing. We can reinforce it with these, we can do the same movement, the students can think about it, but they end up doing the same thing. Can she run? Now, graphic grammar is introduced in the book by an army of little characters who do the movements, show what it means, and actually move the verbs about.
Like all good teaching, it's so simple. It's a fantastic way of understanding how to make questions and negatives. Something which used to be really complex is actually very, very easy. And it works, doesn't matter how long the sentence structure is, all you have to do is turn around the verb and the subject and it works. It's a revolutionary way of presenting grammar.
And of course it works with compound tenses too, so it doesn't just stop. If it's I am reading, you take the active part of the verb, the verb to be, and you put it before, and it becomes I am reading becomes am I reading.
So it's a very simple book. It has a revolutionary way of presenting grammar, and also there's a lot of fun in it.
Why don't you talk about Vernon? Because Vernon's fun for the students.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working for 10 years on how do students remember vocabulary. We're very interested in the concepts of memorization. And so what we do in the book, we control the vocabulary which we present to the students, and then we bring it back so that they can check their vocabulary later on in the book. And rather than just have a boring dictionary at the back of the book, we invented a whole world filled with vampires. I mean, less frightening than it sounds, they're actually very shy, these vampires. And so the students can enjoy the process of checking their vocabulary and reinforcing what they've already learned.
So they get to know Vernon the Vampire, and Vernon reoccurs in the workbook because there's a cartoon strip with Vernon the Vampire in which consolidates the language that they've been using. And we know that that's appealing to kids, and we've seen them love it, and the artwork for that is fantastic. We're very pleased with that.
We need to talk about writing as well, because writing is so difficult for students. So we've worked on a really new way of teaching writing.
Writing is always difficult in the classroom. It's very hard for teachers to teach because of the time it takes. It's also very hard for students because what you think you know in a language suddenly is very difficult to express when you start writing it. So throughout this course, we have given the students a step-by-step build-up of a writing syllabus, and within each step, we give them an idea about writing, practice it, and then really hold their hand so they can produce a short, effective text. And we also encourage them to read their own texts, correct it, and then write a good copy so they become aware of being critical of their own writing. Writing is essential. All students need to get through their exams, and they're usually tested by their ability to write. So we think that's an important part of the course.
So if we had to summarise the course, we'd say it's very simple, it's got lots of fun, fantastic way of presenting grammar and vocabulary, and it's got a really good writing syllabus. We had a lot of fun writing this book.
We did, and we really hope that you enjoy using it.